All right, Charles. We are live. My name is Lloyd Cryer. You are watching Frightmare HQ.
It's Lloyd.
Hey, it's Charles Doze.
I'm Charles Doze. Are you Lloyd Cryer?
I'm Lloyd Cryer. How you doing, Charlie Doze?
Just hanging out, doing my stuff. Can we talk about some movies, motion flicker pictures?
You have you put a lot of work into this one tonight.
That's what you tell all the boys.
I do. I tell them all that, baby.
I'm gonna dance for them. Jeff Evans, Todd Lewis, Aaron Sullivan Sanders, Travis Brown, Beth Beach Brewer, Chrissy, Kristen, Billy, Chad. I'm just yelling at people.
Everybody's here. There, we got a lot of people joining us tonight.
Oh man, tonight's when we flip, and all we talk about is country western music from the 1970s. So
when are we going to flip the format?
I'm thinking about doing romantic dramas from the year 1999 next.
Beth, I did not get some sun this week. I think that's my camera.
Oh, you look like you're burnt, boy.
I know.
You're luxurious. You're like one of those Malibu beach girls. Look at you.
Thank you, Charles.
Fancy. I could butter that biscuit, boy.
You could butter that biscuit.
Mm-hmm.
I did not get any sun, but yeah, I think that's just my camera. I think it's just punching up the red a little bit too much.
Yeah. But we got some movies tonight. 1983 it's a pretty good year.
It was a good year. Chrissy, I am drinking, what am I drinking? Crown Royal Black. I think it's black. It's good.
I'm drinking water out of a Cowboys chicken glass. That's how I roll.
You're not drinking tonight?
No. I should, but I'm not. I figured this was such a good year. I had to, stay sober.
You're going to come on sober, huh?
It'll be quite boring. I'm going to be like, in the year 1983, there was lots of turmoil within the United States of America. But today we're going to talk about horror films. Lloyd? No.
Good times.
Yeah, let's talk about butter and how I buttered that biscuit, boy.
So, let's see.
Moving on.
Do we want to go ahead and start? Or
let's roll it.
What do we want to do? I want to thank everybody for watching. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few people checking us out tonight. And if you're new, thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining us. A lot of people on Facebook. Let's see. We got Ingrid. Ingrid's back.
Ingrid's here. Ingrid, we missed you. We thought you left us for good. We thought it was over, Ingrid.
I know. It seems like we haven't seen Ingrid in a while. Maybe I've just been falling asleep at the wheel.
You just missed her.
Meredith says she received her Elvira tape. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Meredith won a copy of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, from our screening on Saturday.
Yes, she did. Congratulations. I'm going to embarrass Billy Pine. He posted this earlier today. He said these early 80s horrors were my introduction to nude women and masturbation.
Is that like pro level?
Yeah.
That's like the pro level.
We got quite a few comments. Todd Seeley said Billy Pine and slow frame advance. This was before the show started.
One at a time.
Yeah, and Todd Lewis said the pause button was our friend.
Pause button was our friends. The poor tapes only had they had a section of 6 seconds that was worn out of all those poor tapes.
Travis said 1983 introduced Hockey Mask Jason. I thought that was, didn't we already cover part 3?
That was 82, Travis.
Mm-hmm.
82. We didn't get Friday the 13th until 84. Yeah, I think 84 was part 4. Right?
Yeah, final chapter, I think.
Yeah, which was not the final chapter. Don't let that fool you guys.
Yeah, don't be fooled by that. They kept going.
It should have been the final chapter in space.
We didn't get space till years later.
I know, right? What a jip. All right. Well, guys, we've got it narrowed down again to 21 movies, about 20. And as Lloyd says, these aren't the best, but these are the ones we picked. We're not saying they're the best of all.
Yeah, they're not all inclusive.
Just because we like them doesn't mean you should watch them. All right, don't lay that on me because I've got some couple of weird things in here that I like. You guys are gonna be like, "What the hell, Charles?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you blew my mind with one, and I'll bring it up with when it comes up on the list. But Charles, you got me on one.
Oh, I got you on one.
You got me on one. I had no idea what that movie was. Where'd Charles go? We lost you. Oh, you're back.
What happened?
What is going on over there tonight, Charles?
I don't know. I think it's a demon. Hold on.
Are you masturbating?
With an E.
With an E. I'm a cunning linguist and a master debater.
You're a master debater?
Yes, and a cunning linguist.
We're debating films from 1983.
There you go. All right. So first one up. Let's go ahead and kick this off. 1983, February 4th. David Cronenberg's Videodrome. Starring James Woods, Debbie Harry, Sonia Smits. The notes here say Andy Warhol called this movie the Clockwork Orange of the 80s. I can see that.
Yeah. The first time you watch Videodrome, you're just like, what the hell just happened to me? I'm so confused.
Yeah. I think the first time, unfortunately, that I saw Videodrome was a edited, cut for TV cut.
Yeah. There's a few different versions. There's the edited for TV cut, there's the R-rated cut, and there's the unrated cut. If you really want to enjoy the movie, the unrated cut's the best. Most Blu-ray releases are the unrated cut now, though. I think, Arrow Video did a release, but it was only in the UK. Thank you, Arrow. Mm-hmm. But you can get a Criterion version of this. That's a fantastic one. It's really cool.
We've got a trailer. Before we talk anymore about it, let's show the trailer.
Yeah, let's throw the trailer up.
All right.
Come to me. Don't keep me waiting. Please.
Videodrome. The most provocative motion picture experience of our time. First, it controls your mind. Then, it destroys your body. Videodrome. Coming soon to a theater near you from Universal Pictures.
Dang, man. That didn't get you hot and heavy. What's going to do it?
That font looked like Terminator font.
Yeah, this is before Terminator, so.
Interesting. I love Videodrome, though. James Woods was incredible in that movie. The effects were out of this world. And it was, like you said, it was kind of a WTF kind of a moment.
Yeah, Videodrome's really a surreal experience. I mean, it's like a creepy, completely original film. It's got pretty much everything you want: horror, sex, violence, surrealism, whatever you want in the movies in there. And also a fantastic score from Howard Shore and Blondie.
Yep. And Blondie. I agree, Todd. I never saw the Atari 2600 game cartridge until now myself. So that was kind of eye-opening. But, that was technology of the time, so that movie was definitely about technology as it stood.
They used beta tapes in it too.
Yeah. Well, beta was considered to be the superior format at that point. And VHS just kind of, wiped it out. But I don't know. They both suck now that we have Blu-ray and 4K.
Yeah. Brian is joining us from Pittsburgh. What's up, Brian? I love Pittsburgh. Oh, yeah. I did a lot of film locations in Pittsburgh for Romero.
You do a lot of, everywhere you go, you do a lot of film locations.
One day we
should show on that, show some of your pictures and stuff.
We should. I got a lot of them. People will tune out. They'll be like, why'd you go there, Charles? I don't know. Yeah, Videodrome. If you haven't seen Videodrome, really check it out. It's one of Cronenberg's best. It's definitely something to see before the show.
What was that?
I said it's definitely one to see if you haven't seen it before the show.
Oh, yeah. Do you consider, I always thought Existenz was kind of Videodrome's unofficial sequel.
I kind of agree. It kind of felt like that, and there was a lot of relation. It just felt real, like that's where he wanted to go with it. So I would put it in there. I mean, it's really kind of falling in the bucket with it. You can watch them side by side, and they're really good companion pieces.
Yeah. Do you think that was his idea, Existenz, or did somebody say, hey, we want you to make Videodrome again?
I mean, I'm assuming it was Cronenberg's idea because he's never been a person to really do something that he didn't want to do. You can tell most of the stuff he's done, it's all been Cronenberg, Yeah, he's definitely one that hasn't really, laid the way of Hollywood because even the stuff he did, like Eastern Promises and History of Violence, was 100% Cronenberg too.
Yeah. Somebody wants to know, does Debbie Harry do conventions? Maybe she might. And I may have talked to Debbie Harry's people recently.
Lloyd's been stalking her for 6 years. He sleeps outside of her house.
But we'll see.
All right. So moving on. March 4th, 1983, a movie called Curtains. Have you ever seen Curtains, Lloyd?
I have seen Curtains, and I do, and I like Curtains a lot. It's a Canadian slasher flick.
Yeah, I mean, it's a noteworthy, trashy 80s slasher. I mean, it's really infamous for its production problems. This movie took them like 3 years to make this movie. They fired like half the cast, and it was reshot and rewritten a bunch of times. But in the end, I mean, I really enjoyed it. The movie it's about these actresses that are auditioning for a movie role at the director's mansion, and then they're targeted by a mass killer. It's kind of that mass killer slasher we all know and love, right? Mm-hmm. The director was directed by Richard, what's his name, Klupka? I always thought it was funny in the movie. He didn't want to put his name on it, so it's got the fictional director from the movie in the credits. So it says directed by Jonathan Stryker, who's the fictional director from the movie.
Really? I didn't know that. I never noticed that.
Yeah, that's always something I thought was funny. Yeah, here's the poster for it. Behind the curtain, someone is waiting. Something is watching. It's Lloyd Cryer.
I think that's a cool poster, though, with the doll. I think dolls are creepy, man.
The ultimate nightmare. Curtains. It's curtains for you, Lloyd. Curtains.
It's curtains. You got Samantha Egger in it.
Yeah.
Who's done a lot of really cool stuff. She was in a Cronenberg movie, The Brood.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't she also in Demonoid? I want to say Samantha Egger was in Demonoid.
Yeah, I can't remember if she was or not. I think she was. I know she was in... She did a lot of stuff later on. I know she did The Phantom with... in like 94 or 95 back then.
Okay. Yeah, I always liked her. I really liked her in The Brood, but I'm a big fan of The Brood.
Yeah, she was in Demonoid.
Okay. I thought she was.
It also has John Vernon in it. John Vernon's an awesome actor.
Yes.
He was also Curtis Mooney in Killer Clowns from Outer Space, if you guys remember that. But his career goes way before then to like Dean Wormer in Animal House, and he was an Outlaw Josie Wells and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. But it's a good, would you call it Canucksploitation?
That is a Canucksploitation film, filmed in Canada. It's about the tail end of the Canucksploitation reign, but it was. I'd recommend giving it a go. It's available on Blu-ray from Synapsis Films. I think has a release. It's not an easy one to find, I don't think, but it's out there.
Yeah, the Blu-ray. I bought a copy of that. It's a good Blu-ray. It's very well done. Yeah, it was hard to find for a long time before that Blu-ray.
Yeah, it was hard to find. There wasn't really a release. There was a lot of bootleg copies, which were horrible. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the only thing the director... I mean, he did other TV stuff, but it's really the only thing I liked that he did. I know he did some TV miniseries crap, but this is really a fun movie. You can tell by watching it, it was plagued by some problems. But if you like slashers, give it a shot. Give it a go.
Definitely recommended. All right, next up. April 22nd, 1983, directed by Douglas McKeown. The Deadly Spawn.
Oh, God, The Deadly Spawn.
Deadly Spawn always kind of reminded me of those, super mega low budget flicks like The Dead Before. What was it? Not Dead Before Dawn, but
Just Before Dawn.
No, I'll think of it later. But just those mega low budget, shot on 16 millimeter kind of films.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a low budget film. I mean, it was supposedly made for like 20 or 30 grand. The whole movie was. It's not like a perfect movie by any sense, but it's worth watching just to see some of the ingenuity the creators put into some of the scenes, because they really went a long way with what they were working with.
Yeah.
The 80s put out a lot of cheesy movies, but this is one of the best cheesy movies from the time.
The Deadly Spawn. It had a cool creature. A meteor crashed on Earth. No one knew the mystery of the mutant spores inside. I watched the trailer for this, and I wanted to pull it up, but it was just way too long for us to make everybody watch. But it's funny because one scene, it's like they're here and they want to reproduce. I'm like, oh shit! What kind of movie is this? It's a different kind of movie. They kind of look like penises with teeth.
Yeah.
The movie that I was thinking of is J.R. Bookwalter's The Dead Next Door.
The Dead Next Door. I know that one.
That's what that kind of reminded me of. Just, the way it was made and everything.
Yeah, that's a good call. So I was looking at Josette, says she's not going to say what those look like. I know.
I think we already said it.
Yeah, they look like some penises. It's all right.
So it's been forever since I've seen The Deadly Spawn. I definitely need to go back and watch that.
Yeah. I mean, this is the only thing the director ever did, like ever. Probably a reason why, but I'd say watch it. I'm not going to say you're going to like it, but it's one of those popcorn movies where you're going to be like, just sit down like a Saturday night and you're drunk and you want to watch a movie, put on The Deadly Spawn. You'll have a great time.
I can agree with that from what I remember of it.
Yeah, and think about Deadly Spawn too, is if you want to watch it, it's actually really hard to get. Like extremely hard. There was a Blu-ray released by Elite Entertainment, and they go for like $100, $150 on eBay. like they're astronomical in price. So people really want The Deadly Spawn to happen. So maybe they should bring it out again.
I remember when that Blu-ray came out, everybody complained about how bad it was.
Yeah.
It was like a very not well done Blu-ray or something.
It was basically a DVD transfer over to a Blu-ray disc. That's kind of what it was. There was nothing done to it.
Yeah, I'm looking at Amazon. They want $100 for it.
I would say instead of spending $100 on it, the DVD that was released like 15 years ago. I think you can get for like $20, and it's about the same quality. So don't waste your money on it.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend $100 for the Deadly Spawn.
Not for the Deadly Spawn. I'm not going to say it's streaming on YouTube, but hey, it might be streaming on YouTube.
It could be. Everything is.
That's one of those movies, though. It's like Deadly Spawn is an example of a movie that doesn't need to be restored. You need like the worst, like ripped up VHS copy you can find to watch that movie. That's what you need.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay. We can move on to the next movie. 1983, April 29th, The Hunger. The Hunger.
Tony Scott directed it.
Tony freaking Scott.
Yeah.
One of my favorite directors, man. Tony Scott did Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Last Boy Scout, Enemy of the State, Man on Fire, Deja Vu. I love his directorial style. He's crazy. And sadly, Tony Scott committed suicide in 2012, which still shocks me because he's such an amazing filmmaker.
Yep.
He's one of those people, when you watch a movie, you're like, this is a Tony Scott movie. I don't even care. I can tell you it's a Tony Scott movie because it's just his own style.
Yeah, and you got to love David Bowie and Susan Sarandon in that film. It's fantastic.
Yeah. We have a trailer for this. Let's show the trailer for it.
Okay. I'll pull it up over here.
The trailer's hilarious.
Let's see. Boo, 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 boo. The Hunger. Nope.
That's not The Hunger. Yeah, that's one of those trailers where you don't know what the hell the movie's about. You're like, damn, I'm hungry for The Hunger. What did they say? What is it? The perverse sensuality of Susan Sarandon, or whatever they said. I was like, what is that?
Then he just go perverse. That draws me in. Okay, it's perverse. I'm in.
I'm hungry. Susan Sarandon is doing something sensual. David Bowie is in there. I'm watching it. So really, this is a vampire movie. Hunger is a vampire movie. It's basically about a vampire love triangle between a doctor and a vampire couple. That's kind of what it boils down to. But The Hunger it kind of brought a change to vampire flicks. I mean, it really was like an art house film. It was a little different than other vampire films at the time. It's visually, I think, one of Tony Scott's best movies. His script's a little, but I say watch it if you haven't seen it. I don't think a lot of people have seen this one.
It's definitely worth it for David Bowie too. I mean, I'm a huge.
He's awesome in it.
I love David Bowie. So, if you watch it, for only one reason, David Bowie's in it. So go for it, man. It's great. Yeah,
Bowie was kind of, trying to start acting around that time. He didn't really shoot off a lot, but he was trying.
Yeah,
I like him in this. These were the kind of roles he should have done because that was a Bowie role. 100%.
Yeah. Billy says Susan Sarandon is smoking hot. Yes, she is. Hey. What was that? I think you just had a monster come in your room. I heard the creaking door. You're like super fuzzy, Charles. What's going on tonight?
I'm fuzzy.
Yeah.
How am I fuzzy?
Well, it's like you're kind of blurry, like you've got a weak connection or something. It's really weird. I was really red. Everybody was telling me I was really red, so I went in and fixed my filter. So I'm not as red as I was.
How long have I been this blurry?
Pretty much the whole show. You're pixelated. Yeah, that's what Todd Lewis says.
What?
Josette says you're 8-bit and Vaseline.
Well, I guess I'm being 8-bit because it's 1983. So I love being 8-bit. I thought we were taking it back to a time of the 80s.
Exactly.
I'm on a Commodore 64 here. All right.
Well, I found out there's different things I can do to my camera. I can have the zombie effect. I can go black and white. There's one that says sickness. And then, what is that? Cartoon. Now I'm really red. Holy moly. But it's fine. You look fine.
Is
Our
it
our people are just they're really picky, man. They're like, we need high def, Charles.
wait a second. I'm gonna high def myself. Hold on.
You are?
It says people don't like me being an 8-bit. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Well, I guess I am here. I'm going to entertain you guys while we're waiting on Charles to do whatever he's doing to his camera. Attack of the Killer Lloyd. I love Commodore 64. Ascatel, I am sipping on some of that. What did I say it was earlier? I've had too much of it now, and I can't remember what it was. It was Crown Royal Black. It's good. Charles, can you still hear me? Yeah, he's doing something in the background. Maybe we shouldn't have told him.
Wait, is that better?
Now you're frozen. Oh, now he's gone. My shirt. I got my Supervan shirt. Charles made this for me and sent it over. Here he is. He's back. Hey, what's up?
Is that better?
So
blurry?
Oh, that looks a lot better. It looks good. Huh?
I said I didn't even know I was blurry. I don't know what it was.
It's good. Then somebody was just asking me. I was telling them about the Supervan shirt that you have made for me. Boom, boom, boom. Supervan. Yeah, you look a lot better.
Supervan.
So, all
right, guys.
What are you going to say about the hunger, man?
Well, I was trying to be like 8-bit, but people don't like old technology. I know. I was trying to be, old school on my Commodore.
Says you got El Diablo. We haven't seen El Diablo in a while.
I got El Diablo. I guess it's weird, guys, because I can see myself, but I look perfectly clear and fine. So it's very weird.
You look 100% better, though.
Well, like before, I looked exactly the same as I do now. So, all right, let's start this all over again. Let's go out and start
go back to number one. All right, so Videodrome, 1983. All right, do you want to say anything else about what we were, what was it, The Hunger?
Hunger's a great movie. Check it out.
Boom. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
Let's see. All
right, I'm back now. I'm super colored now.
So the next movie that we have is a Jack Clayton directed film from April 29th, 1983. By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. So it's Something Wicked This Way Comes. Of course, the title was taken from a line in Act 4 of Shakespeare's Macbeth. By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. And it's good stuff, man. I love it.
I'm going to throw a wrench here. I don't consider this a horror movie at all.
You don't?
I consider it a mystery thriller. I could see where some people drop in the bucket of an old-fashioned horror story. It's good for kids and families wanting something to watch on Halloween. It's definitely a darker-made Disney-branded product. I have never looped it into a horror movie genre.
Well, I kind of put it in that category of, something horror tinge that's friendly for younger children. Kind of like that Betty Davis movie we talked about the other day, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was a Disney movie as well. But yeah. I kind of throw it in there because it is a Ray Bradbury story.
It is. It's a lot different than the story it's taken from, though. I mean, really, they changed it quite a bit.
Right.
But It's a good watch for a younger crowd, that like 10 to 14 crowd. It's like a starter movie for younger kids. You start getting them into more suspenseful movies. It does have some awful special effects that did not hold up to test of time, but other than that, it's.
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen it in years.
Well, you're gonna watch it this weekend.
Okay.
It's gonna be your goal.
Is that on Disney Plus right now?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I really don't. But it does have an awesome score by James Horner, who's one of my favorite composers. So, how's that going for it?
Yeah. Watcher in the Woods was the movie I was trying to think of with Bette Davis.
Watcher in the Woods.
So kind of the same thing.
Watcher in the Woods. Watcher in the Woods.
The next one is something that I really love. Go ahead, Charles.
June 3rd, 83. Psycho 2.
Boom. I love this
Psycho
movie.
2. You know, this movie had a big undertaking. You know, everybody knew that no matter what you made, it was not going to be as good as Psycho. It was not going to be Hitchcock. This movie definitely is not Hitchcock, but I think it's a worthy sequel to Hitchcock's film. You know, it could have been a disaster. You know,
It what?
I said it could have easily been a disaster movie, and it wasn't. It was well done. It's a good companion piece.
Well, there were two things they did right. They made sure that number one, Tom Holland wrote the script, and he did that. He did so masterfully. It's the closest thing to Hitchcock, you know, without it actually being Hitchcock, in my opinion. And number two, they brought back Anthony Perkins. If they had brought some random dude in to play Norman Bates, I mean, it would have been terrible.
Psycho 2 starring Steve Guttenberg. He's back.
From the makers of Police Academy.
From the maker of the Police Academy comes Steve Guttenberg's biggest performance yet as Norman Bates. Psycho 2.
Also had Meg Tilly in it, and I always love seeing Meg Tilly in anything. She's awesome. I love that movie Impulse that she did, but just about anything Meg Tilly does is fantastic, in my opinion.
And Vera Miles was reprising her same role from Psycho.
Yep.
Robert Loggia, I can't ever say his last name. Lugilablu is a good actor.
It's just pronounced Loogie. Robert Loogie.
Robert Luggie is a great actor himself.
He is a great actor.
I like Robert Luggie. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you haven't seen Psycho 2, if you've been off-put by trying to watch it, really give it a shot. I mean, I enjoy it. If you go into it knowing you're not watching Psycho, because you're not watching freaking Psycho, but you know, it's a whodunit. It has some good twists and turns, and it has a little backstory. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, and Anthony Perkins is incredible in it. He's constantly fighting, you know, whatever you would say, the urge or the fear that his psychosis is going to come back, and it's just amazing watching him basically chew up all the scenery.
Yeah, he goes back into that role really, really well.
Matt said Gutenberg would have been better than Vince Vaughn.
God, I agree with you there.
Yeah, that was a misfire for sure.
Yeah. So check it out. I mean, I enjoy it.
Vera Miles is still around. Also liked her in The Initiation. Too bad she doesn't do appearances. Yeah, she was in The Initiation. Yeah,
she's in her 90s now, isn't she? Is she like 90, 91, 92?
She has to be. I don't know for sure. But
she's 147 years old, guys. She fought in the Civil War, so she doesn't want to come out to the conventions. I'm sorry.
We'll reach out to her. She'll be like, what? What movie is that? I don't know what you're talking about.
Suko? What's Suko? I was never in no Suko.
I'm not an actress.
I'm not an actress. I fought in the Civil War. God damn it. Leave me alone.
All right. June 24th, 1983.
What happened?
This movie kind of makes me a little bit sad. Twilight Zone, the movie.
Yeah.
Mainly because every time I think of this movie, I just think about the tragedy behind the movie.
Vic Morrow and Miki Dilly and Rini Shinyi Chen, the two kids.
The two kids, yeah. It was super sad for everybody. The whole situation was a bad deal, but there were a couple of good things in it. Dan Aykroyd, you want to see something really scary?
Well, it's got good directors. I mean, you've got Landis, Spielberg directed Kick the Can. Joe Dante did It's a Good Life, and George Miller, who's an awesome director, did Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. I enjoy Spielberg's Kick the Can. I think it's a beautiful piece, like by itself. It tells a great story.
Yeah.
But really, it's shadowed by the tragedy you mentioned. I don't know if everybody's familiar with what happened. I think some are. But in reality, when you watch this, the first segment with Vic Morrow, he died while filming it. And that's not the controversial piece. It's the fact that the two kids he was working with were working illegally in the middle of the night, and they weren't supposed to be there. And essentially, the scene with the helicopter, it landed on them and decapitated Vic Morrow and one of the kids, crushed the other kid,
yeah.
And it was filmed on like 3 or 4 different cameras, so there's footage of it doing all this. And they spent like 7-8 years in court over this. John Landis even said that he did wrong by it, but nobody ended up getting in trouble. And it actually divided Steven Spielberg and John Landis at that point. Like they never wanted to work together again. So
yeah. Yeah, that's the whole sad thing about it. I do want to watch it again. I think it's on Cinemax right now. I was looking around the other night and I saw it on Cinemax, and I need to watch it. I just need to tune in.
Another one. It's hard to get on Blu-ray. There was a version brought out in 2014 that's out of print, and it's like $60-$70 to pull it up on Blu-ray. It's just one of those movies. I like it a lot. I mean, John Lithgow in Nightmare at 20,000 Feet is fantastic. Scatman Crothers, who we know from The Shining, is fantastic, and Kick the Can. Like you said, Dan Aykroyd. It's a great movie. Yeah. I think it had some divided critics, but I think it holds up well to Twilight Zone, the series. I mean, it remade 3 of them, gave us an original. I mean, it's kind of, it's good.
Yeah. It's worth a watch.
Yeah. Worth a watch.
Next up is you. You're up next.
July 8th, 1983, Mortuary.
Yes.
Mortuary.
I like Mortuary, but I think I tend to gravitate towards some of the, the B type, sleazier type stuff though.
Yeah, this to me is not the best movie, but Bill Paxton is phenomenal. Bill Paxton is phenomenal in this movie as the psycho morgue worker. If you like Bill Paxton and you've not seen Mortuary, you need to watch this movie just for him. He's great in it.
Well, this was another one my mom took me to see when I was, 1983. I probably would have been about 11 years old. And
Mortuary, Mama, Mortuary.
Yeah, and I saw it at the drive-in, and I enjoyed it. It's real creepy and freaky though, because there's a touch of necrophilia going on and all kinds of weirdness. So it's a fun one. And Bill Paxton, you're right. He's great. I tried so many times to get Bill at the show and just never could pull it off for some reason. And he's a Fort Worth boy. He is from where I live. So
yeah. And he passed away suddenly. I was lucky enough to meet him once. I met him at the Lone Star Film Festival. And he was super nice.
Charles, I actually briefly met him at that same festival. I was there. Or was it? It may have been AFI. I can't remember. But I know it was at the Angelica Theater. And I saw him walk by. And I was looking at him as he was walking by. And he looked at me and went, "Hi." Just real nice. He just, "Hi." And I was like, "Oh, hi." It was a real awkward moment, but I did briefly meet Bill Paxton. So
that's kind of how it was for me too. Briefly, he just kind of shook my hand. I was like, "Hey, thank you."
Yeah,
you should have been like, "Twister's my favorite movie of all times."
I love Twister.
Twister changed my life. When you held onto that pipe and the tornado took you in,
It's such an artistic film.
I got a trailer for Mortuary that we can pull in.
Okay. Did I pull up the Twilight Zone?
I don't think so.
Let's see.
I don't think you pulled up Psycho 2 either, the poster.
Did I skip right over those?
You're failing as producer, Lloyd.
Oh, well, I'm kind of losing my mind.
We'll just watch Mortuary. We'll get it all over with.
So you do have a trailer for that, right?
Yeah.
All right. Hang on 1 second. Nope.
Before your funeral and your coffin lid is closed, before you are buried and your flesh turns cold, before you are covered with the last shovelful of dirt, be sure you are really dead. Mortuary.
And the best part of this is Michael Berryman's in the trailer, but he's not in the movie.
That's what I was just thinking. Was that scene even in the movie? It was.
Michael Berryman filmed this scene for the trailer. It was never in the movie. That's what makes it hilarious.
Oh my god, that is
I'm not
hilarious.
kidding you. I'm not kidding you. He did.
Wow.
Travis says Twister's one of his favorite movies. You know, Travis, Twister's one of my favorite movies too. I remember when Twister came out, I waited for like a month to go to the theaters. Like, I'm going to see Twister. It changed my life. I've never been the same.
You can say what you want, but it's a good, it's a fine popcorn movie. I mean,
Twister, yeah. I ain't screwing around no Twister. Come on.
I remember right after that, Bruce Campbell did a tornado movie, and I think it was just called Tornado.
Tornado, made for TV with Bruce Campbell.
Yeah,
that should be the movie we give away and make everybody watch. Bruce Campbell's made for TV Tornado.
Now give them the thing, or the man with two heads, or what was that one?
Man with two brains? Oh, two heads? I can't remember the name.
Man with two brains or something. That's a terrible movie.
Yeah, there's that. So Mortuary, yeah. It's worth a watch if you like Bill Paxton, I'll say that. Or if you're Lloyd and want to see everything, do it.
Yeah.
Don't expect Michael Berryman to be in it. Michael Berryman's not in the damn movie, so
I recommend checking out Mortuary just because I have such fond memories of seeing it as a kid in the drive-in. So I recommend
it has a good score from John Kakavas. And Kakavas was mostly known for doing TV. He did like Hawaii Five-0 and Kojak, but he also scored Satanic Rites of Dracula. It's a Hammer movie, so he's pretty good. Man with two screaming brains.
Screaming brains, yeah. Or the man with the screaming brain, whatever it is.
All right, we're giving away a double pack of Twister, the man with two screaming brains. Tornado.
And you're all required to watch it.
Yeah. Live with us on air. Reaction video.
You want to go to the next one, Charles?
Yeah, I think that's you next.
Yeah. So we've got July 22nd, 1983, summer film.
Lloyd's favorite movies.
You'll be surprised to hear, but I love this movie. Jaws 3D. With Dennis Quaid, Bess Armstrong, Simon McCorkindale.
Look what I got, Lloyd. I got an original one sheet of Jaws 3D in my collection.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Well, everybody, if you watch this show long enough, you'll know why I like it. And that is because it's in 3D.
It's in 3D.
And it's the cheesiest 3D you've ever seen. But it's basically Jaws at a like a SeaWorld theme park that he's trapped in, and it's it's up to the sons of Police Chief Brody to rescue everyone.
Police Chief Brody's sons work at SeaWorld, and the shark is trapped.
How convenient.
They ran out of budget at like minute 56, so you can kind of start. They ran out of budget. They're like, well, crap. Let's go to Walmart and get some toy sharks. They're like, 3D.
And that's what it looks like. Totally. Yeah. It totally looks that way. But they kind of, I remember the ending has a big explosion and there's pieces of shark that kind of float into your view area. 3D. It's great.
It was Leah Thompson's first movie. I love her from Back to the Future. It's her first movie.
Yeah.
It's so bad that I enjoy it. That's why I've got the original one sheet, because it's just the original one sheet's great. I gave you a copy of it too if you want to pull it up. It's hilarious because it's these people in SeaWorld like skiing and the sharks like after them. Yeah. Oh my God, SeaWorld! We all know what happened to SeaWorld, right? This is a precursor to that. So all new twice in 3D.
Kind of a funny note to that. No one has ever been able to keep a great white in captivity in real life. It's very true. They've never been able to keep one. And it's not because, they're super dangerous. It's because they just don't do well health-wise.
Yeah. Well, this movie was directed by John Alvis, who was actually the production designer for Jaws and Jaws 2. For some reason, he thought he could direct. Well, this is the only movie he ever directed. And he was nominated for Worst Director for it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he should have stuck to what he knew, because he also did production design for Escape from New York, which was awesome. And Close Encounters, which he was nominated for an Oscar for. And he was like, I'm going to direct Jaws 3D. And they're probably like, don't do it. Don't do it, Joe. I'm doing it, guys. I'm
totally going to end my career.
Don't do it, Joe. I'm doing it. Damn it. I'm doing Jaws 3D. All right, do it, Joe.
It definitely is a stinker, but it's a fun stinker if you're into that kind of stuff, and I am.
If you want to watch it, if I have this thing where I like to watch a bad movie every now and then, this is one of them. It's like, I need a bad movie in my life. It's Jaws 3D.
And it is a bad movie, so it's fun, though. It's fun. I just recommend watching it for the hell of it.
So, next up, August 10th, 1983. Zetter, a.k.a. Revenge of the Dead. Oh, this movie. I like this movie, but here's the problem. The hardest hurdle to get over for this movie is this damn title art that they came up with for America when they named it Revenge of the Dead.
Yeah.
This is a ravenous zombie crawling his way out of the depths to eat people. This movie's not a damn zombie movie at all. This is the worst marketing ploy I've ever seen. This has nothing to do with the movie. This is like winning E.T. and they put Deadly Spawn in it. I mean, it's like, oh crap. It's not. What this is, though, is if you get past this stupid poster, this is a fantastic, original, intelligent horror movie. I mean, really, the director works hard to build this mystery, and the plot is really similar to Pet Sematary if you get the plot down to the basis. Yeah. Some people have said that King got his ideal for Pet Sematary some from this movie. He's never said it, but Pet Sematary came out a year after this movie, and it's kind of similar, so I'll just say that.
Yeah. Josette, what is that? What? Revenge of the Dead. Yeah, we were just saying that it was released under that title originally, Revenge of the Dead.
Yeah.
The poster is completely deceptive.
Well, it was released under Zetter. So that was the name of it. But when it came to America, they were like, nah, it's called Revenge of the Dead. We're going to put zombies on it, crawling out of the grates. It's not what the movie's about. It's not a zombie movie. The movie gets a lot of bad reviews because people go in thinking they're going to see Dawn of the Dead, and it's not that movie at all.
Yep.
It's basically, they market ploy to sell it to people. And
there's a really good Blu-ray out from, I think it was Code Red, but I think I bought it on Ronin Flicks, if I'm not mistaken, or Ronin Films. But it's a very good copy. I mean, the print looks amazing. It's never looked that good. So
yeah, and this is actually the one I'm going to give away today too, to somebody. Somebody's getting this. They're going to watch it.
To the Dead. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Just get past the cover art and try to watch the movie with an open mind because it's a really good movie. Just
it is.
Do it. But this director is a great director. He did another movie. I mean, he's kind of basically known for 2 horror movies. This and a movie in the mid 70s called The House with Laughing Windows. A great movie too. I like this movie. It's. I mean, like I was saying, the plot's kind of similar to Pet Sematary. The plot's basically a scientist finds that certain types of terrain have the power to raise the dead and bring them back to life. And it's kind of similar to Pet Sematary. Watch it. I'm going to give away a copy some point during this to somebody. I'm going to do something.
Okay. He also did worked on a little bit of the script for Salo.
Okay.
120 Days of Sodom.
That's a messed up movie.
Which is a super messed up movie, but it has a message, Italian film.
Yeah. His name is Pupi Avati, something like that, right? Avatar.
Pupi Avati.
Pupi Avati, yeah.
Pupi. You're asking the guy that can't pronounce Petitus.
Petitus. He's still alive, too. He's still out there. He still does stuff. He's like a writer still. Yeah. He writes and directs still, but like a bunch of weird Italian stuff.
Yeah, it said he was born in 1938. Damn, son. He's still going strong.
He's going hard in the paint. He's ready to go.
I see one. He's a writer of an upcoming untitled Pupi Avati project.
It's probably why this movie is called Revenge of the Dead with this poster when it's not called that. It's a horrible marketing ploy, but somebody's gonna watch it. So
it is, but check that one out. Next up, here's one that everybody knows, or they should.
Know this movie?
They should. August 12th, 1983. Directed by Louis Teague. Cujo.
Cujo. I've never heard of Cujo before. What's Cujo?
Cujo is the tale of a sweet little puppy dog that gets abandoned, and Dee Wallace is mean to him in the movie and won't let him in the car.
I also have an original one sheet for Cujo in my collection too. There you go.
Whoa! Look at that.
Cujo. It's a great poster, actually.
I love Cujo though. It's a great story.
It's super original story. And it's actually terrifying too. I mean, when Cujo first makes his appearance, it's like, whoa, what the heck is going on?
Danny Pintaro is in the movie. Danny was also in Who's the Boss? He was the little boy in Who's the Boss? Can't remember his character's name. But from what I understand, Danny lives down in Austin now. And I think the director does too, Louis Teague. I think he actually teaches film down there or something.
Oh, does he? I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about that. I'd have to look. Maybe I'm mixing him up with another Stephen King director, but I know that Danny is down in Austin. Danny Pintaro.
Yeah. I mean, I like Cujo. Cujo's good. Lewis also directed Cat's Eye later on, 85, which is a great anthology movie. I'm not familiar with much else he did, though. I think he did. Did he do Alligator from 80?
Maybe. You might be right. I can look that up. Lewis.
I think he did Alligator. I'm not sure, but I think he did Alligator, too. I think there's like 3 movies I know him from.
Jewel of the Nile.
He did Jewel of the Nile. Okay. That's why I didn't find it familiar. I just watched that for like the first time. I'd never seen that.
He did Navy SEALs in 1990, which seemed like that was a popular movie back in the day.
Oh, wow.
He did Alligator, 1980.
Okay, so he was Alligator.
Mm-hmm. I think we have a poster for that, don't we? Or do we have the trailer?
We got posters and poster for that one.
You got a poster for it? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Poster.
Japanese poster.
My favorite. Cujo.
Dee Wallace has a knife in this one. See that knife sticking out? There's a trailer I watched for this that's
I was gonna pull up, but I didn't put it in. But it's in Spanish. It's a Spanish trailer, and it's an amusing trailer because the dubbing on it is so off and like weird, and like his voice of Danny's voice sounds like a lady in her 40s trying to do a little girl voice. And they keep calling Cujo Ojo. It's Ojo. It's his Ojo.
Doesn't that mean I? And
calling him Cujo.
Ojo.
Yeah. Well, next time.
I was just asking. Doesn't that mean I in Spanish? Ojo.
Yeah. You got the Ojo, Lloyd.
Huh. Well, Cujo is supposed to be like a name for a.
Yeah, I mean, Ojo means I. And it means it's a gesture in Argentina that means careful or watch out. So that's probably where it came from.
All I remember is reading the Cujo book, and I remember the postman in the book, and the way Stephen King described him is farting all the time. It sounded like he was blowing a trombone every time he would fart. That's what I remember most about that book. That was the great thing about Stephen King, though, is he was the characterization, and everybody knows that, but that's just an example. You know, you really got an idea for this guy just by him explaining him farting.
Sonia said she wants that poster. Are you talking about the Japanese poster? It's a hard one to find. Our original one's really hard to find. They sold one at Heritage Auctions for like $400 like a year ago. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to the next one. Nightmares, 1983, September 9th, directed by Joseph Sargent. This is the one with Emilio Estevez and Lance Henriksen, as well as Veronica Cartwright. The opening story is probably one of my favorite short stories of all time, or urban legends, or whatever you want to call it.
Nightmares?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's got a great cast. It's kind of went under the radar a little bit. This was originally made for TV. It was made for NBC. NBC didn't want to pay for it, so they basically went and shot one scene, which is in the first story you're mentioning, that made it bloody and got it an R rating. It's kind of what they did. Then they sold it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So originally it was going to be an anthology for NBC for like Halloween time. It ended up costing too much, and they were like, "No, we don't want it." Nobody wanted a PG horror movie to distribute because there was no PG-13 then, so they had to make it R to get somebody to buy it. It's a fun movie though. I mean, Emilio Estevez has his arcade game Hustler, and the second story is hilarious. And Lance Henderson plays a priest. I think it was the fourth story. And Veronica Cartwright's in it. Yeah, it's got a great cast in it. I mean, it's one of those movies that's like fun to watch, but like I can't really rewatch it. It doesn't really have a rewatch value to me.
Yeah. It's and it does in places. It does feel kind of like a TV movie.
Yeah, because I mean, originally it was going to be, and they had to. There's one scene in the first, like where there's a lot of blood and gore, and that's the only time in the movie where there's blood and gore. But they basically filmed that again to make it get the R rating, so they could sell it to somebody.
Yeah. Fun movie.
It's fun, though. I mean, it's a great watch. If you have young kids who want to get into like more horror stuff, you can show it to them. Just don't show the first one because it's a little graphic, but you can show the other three. They're fun.
The first story was about the woman who wanted to get out and go get a pack of cigarettes, and there was a killer on the loose, right?
Yeah, Tara and Topanga.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that story. But I remember that mainly for the Emilio story, the game master or whatever it was.
Yeah, I liked that one. That's kind of what I remember it for too. I remember Lance Henderson was really good in his, but the story itself wasn't very good. You know.
Yeah.
But there's a Blu-ray out from Shout Factory or Scream Factory. I mean, you can pick up.
Yep, get on that one. That's a good one. Check it out. I think I stepped on you. I think I took yours. I think so. You can go ahead and take the next one as mine.
Well, you can take that one because I'm taking the one after that.
Okay.
That's fine. Is that the one you don't know?
And that is the one I have no idea.
It's a great movie. You have to wait till you watch the trailer for it. It's,
Okay, I'm in. I mean, I'm definitely open.
I know you are.
But first, we got The Final Terror, October 28th, 1983. Daryl Hannah and Adrian Zemed. I like this movie. Everybody knows I'm a slasher fan, but I really enjoyed The Final Terror. I think it's a worthy slasher entry.
Mm-hmm. I saw this for the first time about 5 years ago, and then I saw it for the second time a couple years last year, I think. And they Alamo Draft House had it on their mystery horror marathon. They had a 35 millimeter print. So,
really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's beautifully shot. I mean, there's a lot of great locations in that in the forest.
Yes.
It can kind of drag on a little bit, and you can tell at the end they kind of hurried it up. It kind of got out of there, but I enjoy it. There's a lot going on in it. Great cast. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of it. It's something fun.
Yeah, the first time I ever saw it was on VHS years ago, and I tell you, the Blu-ray is a revelation. You know, it's definitely a better film on Blu-ray because the VHS print looked terrible. I remember. Yeah, so if you can get the Blu-ray, that's something I would definitely recommend checking out as The Final Terror. Good slasher flick.
Yeah. I know. I believe the director ended up doing like bigger budget stuff. Didn't he do The Fugitive? If I'm not mistaken. Did he do The Fugitive? Yeah, he did. Andrew Davis did The Fugitive.
Okay, Andrew Davis, and then it was a Samuel Z. Arkoff presentation. So that's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. So Andrew Davis really went on to do action thrillers. He did The Fugitive and Under Siege and Above the Law. So kind of moved up a little bit there. I don't know if he did any other horror movies. I don't think he did, but Joe Pantolioni, I can't ever say his name. Joey Pants is in this movie, and he's
Adrian Zemed is in it too. Wasn't he in he was in Friday 4, wasn't he? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I can't remember.
I thought he was the kid that was watching the vintage nudie flicks in Friday Part 4. Or am I just all those white kids all look the same to me, so I don't know.
All those white kids look the same. I don't know. I don't know him anything else. I just know he was in No, I don't know. I know he did TJ Hooker for a while back in the time.
Yeah, he was in Bachelor Party though, the Tom Hanks comedy. That's a funny.
Oh, was he? I didn't know that. I haven't seen that in a long time. I could go for watching that.
That's a good movie. It's fun. Yeah. But I think I'm mixing him up with somebody else. I don't think he was in Friday 4 now that I'm looking at the credits.
Yeah.
All right. I am excited for you to get to this one because I have no idea what this movie is.
Oh, my God. There's not words to describe this movie. This is The Boxer's Omen, October 28th, 1983. The Boxer's Omen. This is a Chinese film. It's bonkers. This movie is bonkers. This is one of the most bonkers movies I have seen. No words could describe the insanity of this movie. I think you just need to play the trailer.
Okay.
It's bonkers. Just play it.
I haven't seen the trailer yet either, everybody. So we're all in the same boat.
Get ready. It's beautiful.
Okay. We're going to trust you. Here we go. What in the world did I just watch?
What just happened, Lloyd? What just happened?
You definitely got me on this one. I've never heard of this. I have I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless.
This is a bonkers movie done. It was directed by Kwai Chi Hung. I see if I say his name right, but he was known for doing a lot of weird cult bonkers movies based out of the Shaw Company in China. This is one of the weirdest movies. You could tell most Asian horror, you don't know what the heck the movie's about. This one's essentially about a guy who goes to Thailand to avenge his brother's death and gets trapped in black magic, and a bunch of weird bonkers crap happens.
Somebody says, have you ever heard of I've heard of
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that I was looking at though was, has anyone seen this besides Charles?
You know what? I think they have, but maybe it's not easy to get. This has never been released on Blu-ray. It was only released on DVD 15 years ago. It's completely out of print. If you want a copy, I think they're like $300 or $400. They're like ridiculous.
Oh my god!
But I think it's streaming on YouTube. Let me say that. But it's a phenomenal, goofy, weird movie that's got some amazing effects in it. And like most Asian horror, through most of it, you don't know what the heck is going on. It's just weird crap going on.
Yeah.
And this is the lowest. This is the shorter trailer. There's a trailer that's like 5 minutes long for this movie. It just keeps going with the same thing. They just keep throwing stuff out like super scary horror movie. You will lose head of rooster. Just like weird stuff like that. You're like, I love it. I really wanted to give a copy of this away, but I don't even have a copy of it.
Yeah.
I want a copy of it. They don't exist anymore. I saw this like 8 years ago when I had a DVD copy of it that I wish I didn't get rid of. I don't have it anymore. And it's like impossible to find. If you can find it, watch it.
I think that was definitely a mistake.
Yeah. Shouldn't have done it. Yeah, go ahead. You can try to find it. But watch it. Or just watch the trailer over and over again till your head hurts. Like Lloyd's head hurts. He doesn't even know where he is anymore. He's like, what?
Well, that's super bizarre, but I'm down to check it out. I mean, I always like the crazy stuff like the witch with flying head type movies.
Yeah.
I always thought those were bizarro and crazy, but you've definitely got me on this one, Charles. I didn't think it was possible, but you found a movie that I'm not aware of at all.
This director did some other weird stuff. He did a movie called, it was translated to The Killer Snakes. It was like 75 or 76, and that's another bonkers movie too. So that's a couple I'd recommend if you want to check out some, stuff from, he was a very innovative filmmaker, and he was kind of known for hiding a lot of social commentary in his movies too, which is frowned upon in Chinese cinema. So he found ways to hide it in there. Talking about like the poor and, the spread of wealth and stuff like that. Lots of fun movies though. So do it.
Okay.
Do it.
I am going to seek that one out personally. I'm going to watch it. So on to the next thing. Amityville.
Oh, God.
3D, November 18th, 1980.
What's your favorite movie in 3D?
You know that the 3D is fine. This is not a good movie, though.
It's a horrible movie.
It's horrible. I remember one very creepy scene, and I can't remember what it was, but it was down in the basement in the wash area, like the washing machine and the dryer. There was something really creepy going on. I don't remember what happened, but I do remember that being a very kind of a creepy scene. 3D was good if you're into 3D, but that's about it. That's it's not a good movie.
It's got an interesting cast. I mean, Meg Ryan's in the movie. Roy Loughlin's in the movie
As a teenager, right?
Yeah. And Robert Joy is in the movie too, who of course was in Land of the Dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's in that. It's one that I haven't seen in a while. And I wanted to rewatch it just because this is one I probably hadn't seen the longest out of all of them on our list. I could not bring myself to rewatch this movie. I tried. I just couldn't. I started it twice and I was like, nope.
It's also got Lori Loughlin in it.
Lori Loughlin's in it.
Yeah.
He's going to jail now.
Who's going to jail now? So,
what's weird to me about how bad this movie is to me, people might like it, but the Blu-ray's out of print. For some reason, the Blu-ray's like $50 or $60 on eBay. So I don't know who's paying that for this movie.
Well, I can tell you that I bought the Amityville box set. And,
the box set was out. That's a cool one.
Yeah, and that's got the Blu-ray in 3D. So,
well, I feel like this should be a movie they hand out at Dollar General when you buy stuff. So they're just like, here's your 3D movie. It's like, okay.
You know what? This cast has more people than I thought. Somebody just reminded me, Nathan Burrows, that Candy Clark is in it too.
Oh, Candy Clark is in that. I forgot that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's got a good cast, but it's not a very good film.
I mean, and Candy Clark's in it. Tony Roberts is in it too. Who I know he did a lot. Kind of escapes me, but I know he did Serpico. Who's paying 50? I don't know, Beth. Who knows? Somebody is. You think somebody opened it up and they're like, "Oh my God, Barbara, I finally have it. It cost me $63.72, but we've got Amityville 3D." Then they put it in. They're like, "Oh damn."
I tell you what, there are some 3D aficionados out there that would probably pay that or more for it, just because they want to see the 3D, man.
Lloyd Cryer.
I wouldn't pay that much for it. I bought the box set, but I justified that because part 1 and 2 are also in it. So,
yeah. I mean, other than that, I know Richard Flesher directed it, and he was actually a really good director. He did Soylent Green, which I love that movie. He did lots of stuff. I mean, up in like the 50s and 60s. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know he did Fantastic Voyage, I believe, as well. But he's actually a really good director, and I don't know how he got this movie. So,
hey, we all, I guess he's looking for a payday. It's a job, right?
Asketel asked, "What is Soylent Green? It's made out of people.
It's people
out of the wild." Sorry, you can't say that. It's going to happen. Yeah, I don't recommend ever watching this movie. I recommend that if you see it on TV, don't even watch it. Turn the channel. But if for some reason you really want to see a good cast be in a horrible movie, this is the one for you. You've got it.
Let's move on to the next one. You're up next, Charlie.
This is one of our favorites.
Yep.
November 18th. Came out the same day as Amityville 3D. We also got Sleepaway Camp. Oh, we love Felissa. And we love Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp was a great movie. Here's the old VHS box cover for you VHS lovers. This is what you saw at the store when you walked in and were like, "Ooh, I want to rent this one, Mama."
And then Mama let you and immediately regretted it by the end of the film.
What's going on with that little girl there? What does she have? Oh.
Someone in the group the other day posted an article about LGBTQ films. And this one, of course, is on there. But I never realized how many movies in the 80s had that kind of a thing going on. Like, of course, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is the one everybody talks about. And then you've got Sleepaway Camp. And then we talked about Deadly Blessing the other day. And that's even about somebody that, like a cross-dressing kind of a situation.
Well, even I guess backtracking to earlier when we talked about The Hunger is a big LGBT film too. It was actually on the list of, I think it was like top 200 essential LGBT films by, I think it was Advocate. Like, this is like of all genres, and it was on that list. So that's another one.
It's just amazing how that was kind of emerging at the time, in the 80s and the early 80s and, mid 80s. And there was a theme that was prevalent. And if you go back and look at that list, you'll see what we're talking about. There were a lot. Yeah,
there were a lot. And a lot of them were really ahead of their time. Like Sleepaway Camp was really ahead of its time. The way it portrayed, just nonchalantly, the couple at the beginning, the two guys, it was just so nonchalant, which at the time, a lot of people weren't doing that. They were still trying to make comedic movies out of that, which, would be frowned upon, which should be frowned upon today. And
right.
A lot of that movie is just, it's so ahead of its time, and it's still so relevant. Sleepaway Camp is so relevant with the bullying and, the treating people different because they act different. It's still a movie that people relate to today because it's still super relevant. Unfortunately, to our society, it's still super relevant,
Yeah.
I love this movie, though. Sleepaway Camp is one of my all-time favorites. I watched this when I was really young, and I think this movie holds a good place in all of our hearts. If you haven't seen Sleepaway Camp, just watch it today. Just put it on.
Definitely. Reading through the comments.
Oh,
yeah, a lot of love for Felisa here.
Yeah, she's so nice. She's super nice to all of her fans. She's super nice to us.
Todd says he never saw the weenie ending coming. It's crazy because after you see it and then you go back and watch it, it's super obvious. The whole movie, you're like, oh yeah, I know what's going on here. But the first time you watch it, it really isn't that obvious for some reason.
It's not. I mean, once you've watched it, you've watched it. It's one of those movies where it's rewatchable though, but you only get that fun factor once, and it's definitely a fun movie to show somebody who's never seen it. They don't know anything about it because they always have the same reaction. They're like, "What? What the heck?"
So I'm next.
What do you got?
So we got November 24th, 1983. This is an Italian flick directed by Lamberto Bava, and it's A Blade in the Dark.
Oh, I love this movie. It's a fun movie. It's not one of Bava's best, but I enjoy it. I don't know. I have a trailer for it, but it's a fun movie. It's one of those Italian movies. If you like Italian movies, which I do, you're going to like this movie.
Yeah, let me pull up the trailer. Here it is.
Sonia!
I like Blade in the Dark.
Yeah.
The scene that always stands out to me is the chicken wire scene where he's trying to get at her, and that's a good one.
Yeah, this movie, they said there's a lot of influence from Tenebrae on this movie, and Bava worked on assistant to Argento on Tenebrae, so that's kind of, I guess, where things kind of came. But I mean, you watch this movie, if you're a fan of Italian films, you'll see that Tenebrae has a big influence on this movie visually and plot too, kind of. But it's cool because I was reading that Bava didn't even build sets for this movie. He just shot it all in one location, like one house. He's just like, all right, this is where we're shooting it. Boom. So that's cool.
And we had Lamberto at the show a few years ago.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that show I was working so much, I didn't get anything signed by him, and I'm always upset about it.
Yeah. I don't know if I got my Demons poster signed by Lamberto, and that's a good one, but I don't know if I got anything else signed.
Yeah. I remember he was super nice, though. I talked to him for like a while. So it was nice to talk to him.
Him and Ruggiero Deodato were there that year.
Oh, God. Deodato. He had like the heaviest accent. I could not understand what he was saying.
And he talked a lot.
He talked a lot, but at one point, I guess he had been drinking or something, but he came up to me and started talking to me in Italian about something, and I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I'm like, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, he started telling me about he had to go to the outlet mall, or his kids wanted him to go to some mall to pick up souvenirs for him, something at the mall. And he was kind of talking. He was going back and forth between English and Italian, and I was just like, okay, have fun.
You're like, do it. Go, dude.
Go for it.
Yeah. We had Laura said this is her first time joining in from California. Hey, Laura. Thank you for joining us.
Let me put that on the screen.
Movies from high school days I haven't seen. Yeah, check some of these out.
Thanks for joining us, Laura. You're on Facebook. Be sure to like us and subscribe so you get updates.
Yeah, and not much else. I mean, I could say about Blade in the Dark. Blade in the Dark is on Amazon Prime this month, so you can check it out if you have Amazon Prime account. So I know it's available there because I actually saved it so I could rewatch it. And I just rewatched it. It's still fun. So,
yeah, it's a fun movie. You are up next, Charlie.
I am up next. Dun dun dun. November 24th, again, 1983, of unknown origin. Oh, has anybody seen this? Because I like this movie a lot. This is Peter Weller, like the goofiest story.
It is.
If it can't scare them to death, it will find another way.
Am I giving away anything if I say what the creature is in this movie?
No, I think it's kind of known. I mean,
okay, it's a rat film.
Yeah.
And I can't watch rat films around here because Sue hates rat films. So
yeah, Peter Weller. Sorry, go ahead.
I have to wait till Sue's not around before I can watch a rat film around here.
Yeah, and this movie is a rat film. It's basically Peter Weller running around a house after a rat who's wants to live in his house. It's actually a really, really good movie.
It is a good movie, yeah.
And this is the first lead role of Peter Weller. This is his first leading role. So I like this movie a lot. I mean, it's well made. It's a goofy storyline, but it's fun. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's fun. I can't give a lot of scenes away because I don't want to spoil, because I think this is one maybe people haven't seen a lot.
Yeah, I think it is. And right away that it's a rat, so I don't think I really gave anything away.
Yeah, I don't think you gave anything away either. That's actually in the synopsis. I think if you pull it up, it actually says a man chases a rat around a house or something really crazy.
Yeah.
It's real fun. I can't recall though. I know it's also who directed it though? Was it Cosmatos that directed it?
Well, I'll have to look, man. Of unknown origin.
If it's Cosmatos, he did some other stuff. I don't know why I have it in my head that he did this, but
George Cosmatos.
Okay. Well, George Cosmatos, since it is him, and it was in my head that it's him, he went on to direct some action movies. He did Cobra with Stallone, which is awesome.
Yeah. Rambo First Blood Part 2.
And he did Tombstone from 93, which Tombstone is a great movie. That's probably his best movie was Tombstone. But, Tombstone was actually directed by Kurt Russell, but we can keep that on the download. But, It kind of was.
Directed, Leviathan with Peter Weller.
Oh yeah, Leviathan, which it's another movie we can talk about when we get to that time period. It's a fun movie. It's I'm not going to go too much to Leviathan because I'll start talking about it and
yeah. Well, that's 1989.
Oh, we got a ways to go.
We got a ways to go before we get to that one.
So of Unknown Origin, I'm not sure if it's for sale.
I thought Scream Factory put that out.
They may have. I think they did a couple years ago, right? Well, Scream Factory has one out.
Yeah.
Available on Amazon. It's not streaming, but it's one I'd recommend picking up and watching. It's a fun one. The poster on it's great that we pulled up. It just tells you nothing. It's just a picture all flashed. So
yeah, if you saw that poster, you'd have no idea what's going on.
You'd be like, it kind of looks like a slasher movie. You kind of mistake it for a slasher movie. You're like, oh,
yeah,
it reeled you in.
Recommended flick though of Unknown Origin. Go for it.
Go for it.
All right. Here's a fun one. December 9th, 1983, directed by John Carpenter.
What's
Christine.
This? Oh, one of my favorite movies too.
I love Christine.
Christine's not a horror movie though. It's a beautiful love story about a guy in his car. It's not a horror movie. It's a beautiful story. He loves his car loves him, and these people, these Goombas are trying to take him down, and he fights back.
Getting in his way, man.
Getting in his way, and it's beautiful. I've got the car signed by the cast up there somewhere.
That was probably one of my favorite years of Frightmare, just because of the Christine cast, and we had John Carpenter, and we had the car at the show, so that was a really fun show for me.
Yeah, Carpenter was so amazing too.
I think we have a trailer.
Oh, we got a great trailer for it.
Was wollen Sie für den Wagen? Ich meine, was immer Sie sagen, ich gehe drauf ein.
Sie heißt Christine.
Nein, du wirst diesen Wagen ganz sicher nicht behalten. Das kannst du mir glauben.
Er hatte den gleichen Gesichtsausdruck, den mein Bruder immer hatte. Vermutlich hat mein Bruder in seinem verpfuschten Leben nichts mehr geliebt als dieses Auto. Keiner konnte diese Liebe zwischen ihm und Christine zerstören. Wer es versuchte, der war dran.
Nein, ich habe alles mit euch besprochen, was ich je gemacht habe, alles. Immer wird hier so schön und ehrlich abgestimmt. Und wenn ich was möchte, dann werde ich einfach überstimmen, 2:1. Aber heute gibt's keine Abstimmung. Ich habe den Wagen gekauft und Schluss. Wenn jemand an dich glaubt, dann kannst du alles auf dieser verfluchten Welt tun, was du willst. Hast du also bei Lee? Was? So ein Quatsch, nein. Ich spreche von Christine, Mann. Kein Scheißer kommt zwischen mich und Christine. Fass mich nicht an, du Mischstück. Das ist doch genau das, was du gewollt hast. Geh weg von hier. Geh weg von hier.
This was so much better in German. It's so much better.
What the hell are you doing to me, Charles? Somehow that seems to work a little better in German.
He sounds so angry. Nein, Christine.
It sounds like Arnie sounds like a young Hitler or something in that movie. I mean,
I ran across that trailer. I was like, we're totally going to play that trailer. It's fantastic. It's with beautiful quality too. I'm like, why is it so perfectly?
Christine is. What can I say about Christine? I love this movie. I don't think there's enough possessed or evil car movies made. There's a handful of them, and this is probably at the top of the heap, so to speak. Pun not intended. But so you got the car, you've got Christine. There's Wheels of Terror. What else am I forgetting? There's a couple others.
Maximum Overdrive,
yeah. So I just don't think there's enough. There needs to be more evil car movies.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot when you get into it. I mean, there's movies with cars in it, like Duel and stuff like that. Death Proof, but not really actual, evil car movies.
Sonia brings up a good point. She says Beast of Burden. What a great soundtrack. I mean, so many great songs. I have that on my playlist. And every now and then I just pop on the Christine soundtrack, and it's fantastic. A lot of great songs in that movie.
It really is. And the score, too. The score, of course, it's Carpenter, so the score's fantastic. But there's not much else we could say. I think everybody's seen Christine. If you haven't, watch it. But I think most people have seen it. It's like an essential movie watch.
It is an essential movie watch. It's got Robert's Blossom in it. And I love that guy. He played Ezra Cobb in Deranged, which was a Ed Gein kind of a film. And he was somebody that I was working on that year. I was trying to get in touch with him and never could. He was still alive at that point. When we brought
I remember you were working on trying to bring him.
I was.
Well,
but we lost him a couple of years later, I believe.
Yeah, it was real soon after that. But it's got a great cast. You got Harry Dean Stanton in it too, who somebody else I wish we could have got along the road.
Yeah.
Somebody else I also
you remember us trying to get him too.
Yeah. And I actually met him once too. The same day I met Bill Paxton. He was there for that Lone Star Film Fest. So
yeah.
It was basically I said hi to him, and he looked at me with his Harry Dean Stanton look like he didn't care. He was like, all right. I was like, cool. Thank you, Harry Dean Stanton.
Robert's Blossom has the greatest line in just about any horror movie, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't no better smell than a new car.
In a new car.
Except for pussy.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget he went on to be in Home Alone. So
he was in Home Alone. He was.
Right. Which is pretty much the same. I think it's a sequel to Christine, because I think he's the same character in Home Alone as he is.
I think he is too.
Well, we got one more.
Go for it. Am I next, or no? You are.
Okay. Well, December 16th, 1983, Michael Mann's The Keep. A very early Michael Mann movie. I like The Keep. I think The Keep's a fun movie. It's a strange film. But it's engaging at the same time. It makes you want to watch it. You could tell Michael Mann was a young director at the time. I think if Michael Mann directed this 10 years later, it would have been a lot better, because he went on to, do some fantastic movies like Heat in 95, so it's just, I like this movie though. Have you seen this one, Lloyd?
I have seen it. Unfortunately, it's been ignored on home video since the VHS days. I don't think we've ever got a DVD or a Blu-ray of this film.
I don't think so either. I know you can,
because you can watch it on Prime Video.
Yeah, Prime, you can buy it, but it's only an SD copy. So all there is that old SD. It's like a rip from the VHS. This is one that should be the one I'd like to see, like Arrow Video or somebody bring out as like a restored copy. It'd be really cool to see.
From what I understand, a lot was cut from it too. So
yeah, it was one of those movies where at the time, they had to edit things. It's the only way they got stuff released. The MPA was really cracking down back then. But yeah, if you haven't seen The Keep, it's basically a Jewish historian battling a demon. It's kind of what it's about. But it's got a great cast in it. Ian McKellen, like I said, is in it.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen it either. Say Man of Cyber being yeah, I don't know. I think I've watched it like a decade ago. That's why I don't have a lot on it. I just know I liked the movie. I enjoyed it when I watched it, and yeah, pretty much that's it. That's it. It's got, I think Tangerine Dream did some of the music for it.
It does, yes.
Which was fun. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I got on it, though. I'd like to watch it again, but kind of a hard one to grab.
Yeah, and it's got crazy Nazis in it too, so that's another reason to watch it.
Yeah. So, well, we went through our movies. We do have some honorable mentions that we could spout off.
Yeah.
What we got, Lloyd?
So we got Mausoleums first, which is a great 1983 B, B almost Z rated film. We've got Soul Survivor, which was a early Final Destination type film.
Yeah, it's a fun watch. Sometimes it's credited as coming out in 84, but it was first released in 83.
You take the next one.
House of the Long Shadows, which that's another movie it's not the best, but it's worth a watch for the cast because it's kind of a comedic movie. But it's got Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Desi Arnaz Jr. is in it. Carradine. And it's kind of like it's more a comedy than anything,
I have a mint beta copy of that movie. I mean, and mint. It looks like I don't think it was ever played, to be honest with you.
And I really wanted to put this on our list, but to me, it kind of falls almost off the horror list when you watch it a little bit, enough to where I kind of just put an honorable mention. So we've also got Mountaintop Motel Massacre. This is one of Lloyd's movies here.
Have you seen this movie?
I have seen Mountaintop Motel Massacre, Lloyd. I don't recall liking it very much, but I recall enjoying some of the scenes with the Reverend in it. Played by Bill Thurman.
Yeah.
Some of the kills. It was an interesting watch.
We also have American Nightmare, which was a it had Michael Ironside in it, and I want to say it had a very early appearance of Alexander Paul was in that from Christine. The female lead of Christine.
Oh, was she? I know Michael Ironside's in it, but I didn't know about Alexandra.
Yeah, she's way down on the cast list, but she is in the movie.
It's a weird movie. It's got a lot of it's got some incest in it, some blackmail. There's a bunch of weird stuff going on in that movie. It's not a particular favorite of mine. But I mean, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. And then go ahead and take the last one.
Spasms was the last one with Peter Fonda and Oliver Reed, which also came very close to being on the list. I think this movie's a little underrated. It's kind of goofy, but it just fell short of dropping on our list.
Yeah. A lot of problems that I've read about with that film. Like they wanted to, something they were going to build. They had like a real snake they wanted to use in it, but they wanted to build a fake snake, and there was all kinds of craziness behind the scenes on that film.
Yeah, and they basically the end was basically just filler. It was like what they had already shot. They're like, we're going to put this here, we're going to put this there. Okay, we're good.
Started out as a Tobe Hooper flick, and that seemed to happen a lot with Tobe, where he started out on something and they went, well, maybe not.
And the
maybe
effects
maybe not. I
don't
know.
They were done by Dick Smith, which is interesting because Dick Smith worked on that movie. So, yeah.
A lot of bladder effects like we were talking about the other night.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to give away a copy of a movie. I think we said we're doing Zetter. We're doing Zetter, guys. Zetter or Revenge of the Dead, right?
Yeah.
So let's give away a movie. I want the first person, and you can only win if you haven't won a movie before. Sorry, people already won. Sorry, that's the rules. The first person who can post Christine's license plate number in the comments. Do it.
Ooh, holy moly. That's a hard one, bro. And you can't go to Google, look it up.
I know it off the top of my head, but I'm just nuts. So
Yeah, we're nerds.
yeah. Anybody got it? People are frantically Googling. They're like, God damn it.
They're Googling fast.
Who's going to do it? Somebody going to do it.
Do you think we're going to get a winner?
Guess not. All right. Well, it's the end of the show.
Everybody's Googling.
I threw people for a loop. Sorry, guys.
I think somebody's going to find it.
Somebody could find it. Come on.
We do have a winner.
Morgan. That's it.
There it is.
CP241.
Morgan hasn't ever won, right? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Morgan won this one, though. Morgan's getting a copy of Revenge of the Dead, a.k.a. Zetter. So just shoot us your details. We'll get that out to you.
Awesome. Well, that was a good one. We know everybody went to Google for that. They had to.
Yeah. So, yeah, good show. We kind of ran long. It still was 2 hours.
We did. But you know what?
I don't care.
I don't either, man. As long as everybody's having a good time.
I mean, I'm kind of disappointed, though, that apparently the first 30 minutes I was blurry, but what are you going to do?
Oh, that's cool. You look real good now, Charlie.
I made bit out of control. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I got this week.
What all I've got is I just want to remind everybody about what's coming up. If you're on YouTube right now, do us a favor, like the video, and then hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell so you get reminders. If you don't mind, we really appreciate that. That helps us out a whole lot. If you're on Facebook, make sure to share us and let all your friends know about the show. The more viewers we have, the better.
Yeah.
And then coming up this Saturday, is that the 6th, June the 6th, at 2 p.m., we've got from Terrifier and the upcoming Terrifier 2, we have 2 guests, Damien Leone and David Howard Thornton, also known as Art the Clown. These are fun guys. They made a really fun movie. If you haven't seen Terrifier, it's a fun independent horror film done really well. And they're working on Terrifier 2, so we should see that pretty soon.
Which will also have our favorite Felissa Rose in it. She has a bit part in it.
That's right. That's right.
And then Saturday we'll do our weekly Twitch. I said Twitter. Weekly Twitch, Amazon Prime. I think everybody chose Return of the Living Dead this week. That was the choice of everybody. Do you guys pick them? We watch them. I want more people to join because we get like 130 people vote, and then there's like 13 people that join our movie. We're like, wait.
Exactly.
Like, if you're not going to watch, we'll vote.
Make a real effort this time, guys. If you can. A lot of people voted for this, so if you can do it, create a Prime account. I mean, a Twitch account if you don't have one. And use your Prime Video account and join us. Get online, and we have a lot of fun. And it'll be more fun. The more people, the more fun it is.
Yeah. Well, it's been a fun time. 1983 is a good year. Next Wednesday, 1984.
Yes. And
what do you got?
If you want more info about what we've got, I went on our website. I created a page. I'm going to put it up right now. So it's at frightmarehq.com.
Ooh, okay.
If you go to that page, everything you want to know about this show is on there. I've got our schedule on there. I've got links to all of our channels and what we do on Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's all there. And we've even got some cool merch there. If you want to buy a shirt, that would help us and support the show and help us get even better. And we would appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody watching. I know these Wednesday ones run a little long, but I don't know. Me and Lloyd get talking and we don't stop. So it's just how it is. It's how the world's going to be. I'm sorry.
It's just going to be that way. What else, Charles? Anybody else out there got anything?
Anybody else got anything? Thank you, everybody. Anybody got something? Could you post a list of movies you talked about? Yeah, I'll post them up. Like last week I did.
No autograph giveaway. No, we do that on Saturdays. So join us on Saturday for the autograph giveaway.
Yeah. Saturday
at
there's
2
the Crampton one from last week. We'll give that away.
Yeah.
Crampton? And then
It's Barbara Crampton.
So that'll be given away, and you have to subscribe. But you have to share. We look at shares for that.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, we're at an hour and 47 minutes. So
Okay.
let's roll out. Let's roll out.
Okay. Thank y'all for joining us today. We had a good time with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it as well. You've been watching Frightmare HQ. My name is Lloyd Cryer, and I'm with
Carlito Does.
Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you Saturday. Bye-bye.